What a day. What a day. You've got an overall, you've got moto wins, but dude, it's the stuff that riders dream of, right? Like, obviously Lakewood's a good track for you, but were you thinking from the start of the day, like, this is what I can do?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I go into every weekend believing that I can do that, you know? Like, I made a lot of good improvements on the bike, and then, I mean, for another reason, I was also healthy and not sick going into the weekend, so that helped.
Yeah.
But no, it was just, I think everything was just flowing for me, and I mean, I went in super focused and super confident that I needed to turn this thing around and start getting some momentum going my way. But yeah, I mean, on paper, it was a perfect day for me.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, looking back on it now, I mean, even yesterday, it was like a little surreal to me. I'm like, especially never having a day like that in my life. I was like, well, damn, like, kind of like still surreal that I did it, you know. But I mean, like, I go back like a month ago and how I was feeling going into round one. I was like, man, like, that's what I expected myself is to go, you know, perform like that, you know.
Yeah. Were you thinking, like, sometimes I've had riders tell me this in days like what you had. I've had riders tell me that as they're out front, they don't feel like they're riding that well or that fast. They don't feel like they're out of control. Like, everything is almost slow motion. You almost feel like you're going slow, but that you look at your pit board and you're putting, you know, more and more time on the pack. Is that how you felt, or did you know what I mean? Like, what was it like just doing that, or did it come easy, or were you like, no, I'm pushing it?
Yeah, I mean, my mindset was more or less just trying to ride a little bit more chill and not trying to push, because if you overrode the track, you would lose so much time. Like, especially in the first moto, like, I could hear Haiden behind me. And I was like, shoot, like, I need to start pushing a little bit more and, like, try to build a gap. Then I was overriding and losing time, but he was kind of doing the same thing behind me, you know. But so I was like, mentally, like, I just had to mentally check myself and be like, dude, like, just calm down. Like, it was almost a track where, like, slower was faster.
Yeah.
You know, like, it was, like I said, it was super easy to override. So I felt like for me, once I just calmed down and just hit my marks and just honestly just slowed her down a little bit and was more mellow and not so heavy on the throttle, like, I feel like that's when I was starting to kind of bridge the gap and start putting a little bit more time down and more or less just be more consistent. But obviously, like, out front, you get to a point where you're like, you don't know if that's the right speed or not. And in the second moto, like, I hit a bad batch of lappers, and I hit them in, like, the most one-line part of the track too. And Haiden put like 2 seconds a lap on me, 2 laps in a row, and I was like, holy shit, like, I need to get her going. So I put down 2 sprint laps, and that kind of broke him a little bit. But yeah, it was, I don't know, for me, like, when I was out front, I felt like, you know, I was faster. Like, I felt like I was the fastest guy there, you know. It was just, don't make the mistakes. Obviously, once racing comes around, it's different, and people race a little bit different than they qualify, you know. And I knew Haiden was going to be there the whole race. Like, I feel like our speed is very comparable compared to everyone else's. But, like, I knew he wasn't going to go anywhere, so it was more or less just hitting my marks and not making any dumb mistakes.
Right.
How do you, Chance? How do you block it out? Because you know Deegs, he comes hard at the last 3 laps, and you know that's coming. How do you? I mean, you're still young. You have been in that position, but in the rivalry between you two, does that affect you when you're going through the motions, or are you able to kind of block it out?
Yeah, I mean, in the past, it did affect me, you know, like, especially when I was out front. I was like, man, like, how long until I pump up, or like, or can I last, you know? But I feel like this year, me and Burner have been working really hard, and like, even though I didn't get to start riding very early before Supercross, I did a lot of off-bike training, especially when I was doing my knee. So, like, I'm really confident in my fitness right now, and I knew, like, just in the past couple months of training, like, I knew once I got to that 25, 30-minute mark that obviously when Haiden picks it up, I knew I could pick it up too, you know, like, and I felt like I made a lot of progress on the bikes throughout the week, and it was a lot easier for me to ride. I felt like the first couple of rounds, it was a little bit of a bucking boulder ride, so I was just working a little bit extra harder. But this weekend, like, the bike was so much easier to ride for me, and I felt like that gave me that extra bit of endurance back that I could use at the end to, put those last minute sprint laps in to keep that gap there. But I was just so confident in myself to be able to pull that off and block out the, Hayden's going to pick it up at 25 minutes, and that's when he's really going to start charging, because he did have a few laps. Like I said, he had a couple laps like that at the end of the second moto, but I was able to, answer back and, put the same lap time back up.
Does this might be, your knee thing was a little while ago and stuff like that, but with a track like that, do you think about it at all with those big gnarly ruts? You have picture perfect form, and I got bad knees, and I look at that track and I just pray for my ACL. But for you, it's like, you don't ever drag your legs or nothing, but is it still in the back of your mind? Because I don't think people really understand, like, yeah, you can see it on TV, but it does no justice on something like that. But does it still, is it still there or no? Or you completely block it out like Jet, where it's not even an issue anymore?
No, honestly, I don't ever think about it. Like, my knee is super solid right now, and I was very lucky that I only did my ACL when I did it and nothing else. So, like, even last year, like, I had a couple moments where I'd rip it off and dab it, and it would freak me out. So I had it in the back of my head, but, like, this year, like, it feels super strong to me. And honestly, I haven't really thought about it in a long time. Like, it reminds me at the end of the day when the thing's a little bit sore compared to my right knee. Don't get me wrong, but like, dude, the track this weekend was so gnarly and so deep. Like, it was so easy to grab your foot and rip it off. But luckily, Doc G and Burner got me whipped into shape pretty quick, so this thing's pretty strong.
I was going to ask you about being the second motos. If you noticed it being way worse because you were the last moto of the day.
They prepped a bit of it.
Yep.
I didn't feel like it was like crazy, like way rougher than the first moto, but it was almost like a little bit better because, well, for one, they prepped a bunch of it, but it rutted up so quick with how much moisture and how many bikes were out there. But to me, I felt like the track was better the second moto because it firmed up in some places, so you weren't burying your bike as much. I think I'm trying to remember if we did more than one race last year where we were second moto, but second in the order. But
I feel like you did.
Yeah, I honestly enjoyed more being going after the 450s. I feel like the track's a little bit better for us. I feel like you get more in an instance where it was like how it was this weekend, where it firms up a little bit better. I feel like the track was a little bit more raceable in the second moto compared to the first one, where it firmed up and you got a little bit better lines.
Yeah. Renthal, by the way, bringing you Chance Hymas, the 111 winner of Thunder Valley. Renthal.com.
Chance, I also want to. So I brought up earlier with Steve because back at Denver Supercross, Honda came out and did some testing at Colorado. Were you a part of that as well, or were you not?
Possibly. Maybe I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was just wondering because the Honda coming out, both whole shots in the moto, like there's obviously something kind of found, and it's obviously everyone knows how strong the Yamahas are and how everybody's leveled up to get to that level, but to be able to do that at altitude and stuff, show looked like there was maybe something there, so it's very, very impressive.
I guess it helped.
Yeah. The boys have been working really hard on the 250 side to get this bike as competitive as it can be. I feel like the bike's in a really good spot right now. Engine-wise, like performance-wise, I feel like it's really good. And what do we have? 6 motos that I've pulled 4 whole shots, and the 5 motos that I've done. So, but yeah, when they hit me up about doing the test in Lakewood, I was like, oh hell yeah! Like,
yeah.
For one, I really love Lakewood. The track's sick. The scenery's beautiful, and we got kind of screwed with weather. We got rained out another day, but we at least got one full day of testing it. And obviously, you learn a lot, especially being at altitude. And I'm almost certain that gave us a little bit of an edge going into this weekend. But it also helps riding like here in Idaho, because I'm at 4,700 feet, and I think Lakewood's just over 5, somewhere in there. But even riding here all week and being able to get down to first gear in some corners and getting used to that and doing first gear starts, like, I feel like it definitely benefited me going into this weekend. But it's It was a big help for sure.
Yeah, because he's been riding with Preston Gilroy,
Where? Up in Idaho?
right? Did you not this past week?
Oh,
Yeah, on last Wednesday I did. He came
okay.
out and
yeah.
did a couple motos.
Okay.
He's a red plate holder right now up there. Wait, does
Yeah.
the guy get it
No,
back?
he still got it.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Still
Yeah,
got
hey,
it.
I got a question for you, Phil. How was that track this weekend? 'Cause I was watching it.
Oh,
and,
trust me, I see who you're cheering for up there, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. No, it
Hey,
was.
Dylan's my guy, dude.
I know.
I can't cheat on Dylan.
No,
Hey, can you believe that fucking 45-year-old Phil jumped that thing? Jumped that 140-foot quad thing?
Oh, dude, they were talking so much shit on the live stream too. Like, I feel so pissed that he has to do that jump. And,
I was pissed I had to do that fucking jump, Chance. I'm not gonna lie,
dude,
But,
that thing was big.
yeah, it was, but it's easy. It's not like going up to Larocco's Leap, dude. Larocco's has your butthole puckered up. That one was kind of just a brain off,
Yeah.
but you could case that one and be fine.
You
But
did case it one lap.
I
oh,
did.
Dude, yeah,
I did.
You cased it hard
yeah,
one
it
lap.
was. Yeah, those tracks are they're a little different, buddy. I'll tell you that. So be grateful.
Hey, one of the Bruff kids did pretty good.
Yeah, I think
seventh?
fifth or something. Yeah, somewhere around in there.
Yeah, my boy Gavin.
Gavin, he did well.
Yeah.
Did well, yeah.
Yeah, I grew up riding with Gavin.
Right,
He's
right.
one of my best friends.
Yeah, that was really good to see for sure. And then we think, Chance, that Phil may have fucked with Dylan's bike. We're not sure yet. We're trying to figure it out, but Phil
Are
probably.
you taking
did.
my boy out already?
No. I
He's-
got to get close to him in order to take him out. But those two are on a different level. So
You take him out this week? Hurt his arm?
yeah, no. I wish I could say that, but I'm a couple seconds off of those boys. So it is what it is. But I'm gonna have to ask you a question here, all right, dude? You can.
Oh boy.
How do we go from an electrolyte deficiency last week to a standout performance?
Dude,
this
I
week?
didn't have an electrolyte deficiency. I had food poisoning all
So
week.
who
I was
came up
puking my
with the-
food up all my week?
Well, where'd that
Bro,
come from?
Dude,
I don't know either. Yeah.
I don't know either because I told everybody.
All right, well, then I
when I was
retract
asked, I said food poisoning, and I told them I couldn't keep my food down. I said that, and then they flipped their scripts and they had to do their story that it was 100+ degrees and Chance couldn't keep his water down, didn't have enough water.
I think the thing
I'm
was
puking up all my food, and I got no food in my stomach and hadn't been able to eat food all week, but it was an electrolyte deficiency, don't you know?
I know. I think what the mix-up was, you threw up after the moto because you of food poisoning, and then they were like,
but I threw up before the moto,
yeah.
too.
And I think they were like, we can't send him out there without being properly hydrated for the heat. But that's That's also true, but that's not why. That's not why.
Yeah,
Right,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Also,
Yes.
throwing up everything, it definitely makes me dehydrated for
Yeah,
sure.
for
but,
sure. Yeah.
I mean, I went to the A-Stars rig to get an IV after. It gave me a little pick-me-up because I was about to pass out. So,
what did you eat? What was it? What did it for you? A Monday or Tuesday? What was it?
dude, on Sunday I had I don't know, I had a salad, a steak, and asparagus, and an ice cream sundae for my birthday, dude.
Okay.
I was turning 20. I at least had a little bit of ice cream, but
Yeah.
dude, Monday, Tuesday, I was laid out in my hotel in Corona, just dead.
Dude, food poisoning is the worst too. It is the worst.
That sucks.
It's horrible.
It was miserable. I didn't even I was starting to get more food in me on Wednesday, but dude, any little bit I ate, dude, it was I got some little stomach bug from it that lingered, or I don't know. It's been so long since I had food poisoning, I forgot how bad it was.
Yep.
Well,
So, I started to eat again, and then my stomach would start feeling wheezy. And I was like, dude, I could barely eat.
Well, next year around this time when Hangtown rolls around, we'll know it's your 21st birthday next year, and you went out and you got fucking alcohol poisoning.
Yeah, there you go.
So
We already got the story. For next year.
yeah.
It's already locked in.
Yeah, I'm already plotting it now.